Hi everyone, welcome to the Bold, Beautiful Borderline podcast. It's your host Sarah, and today I'm on my own and we're talking about the power of community, which is really the power of friendship and all of us coming together to support one another. This is such an important topic and a really scary topic because we need other people to be successful. We need other people to feel loved and connected. We need other people to show up for us when we can't show up for ourselves, and we need to do all of that for other people as well. As someone with a social anxiety disorder diagnosis, I have found that it's really, really fucking scary to build community and to build friendships. I think you guys have heard me talk about a time where I was in the process of building friendships with my two really good friends, Edwin and Leanna. And Leanna is actually going to join us on the podcast to share her story at some point soon, which is a really fascinating story. I'm so excited for you guys to meet her. But when we were in the process of making friends with Edwin and Leanna, I was fucked up, you guys. Like, I was not well. I was so scared. I was turning everything into a reason why Edwin and Leanna wouldn't like us, specifically why Leanna wouldn't like me. One of the things that I've really had to confront is like the history of women being mean to women and us being in competition with each other rather than in community with each other. Really kind of resulted in me feeling like, oh my God, what if she doesn't like me? What if she thinks I'm crazy? What if she thinks I'm embarrassing? What if she doesn't want to be my friend? All of these things that were bubbling to the surface for me resulted in, at the time, me like crying and screaming, and I was on the floor after they left, just like inconsolable. And it led to some medication changes that really needed to be made. But it was, in true borderline fashion, it was dramatic. And fast forward probably a year later, a year and a half at this point later, because that was in the summertime and it's now winter. In fact, I'm recording this on Christmas Eve. So a year and a half later, and I feel like I've finally gotten a hang of it. And we're in like true community with one another. Like, they walk into my house. She comes into my house when she needs to use the bathroom after work, because sometimes she's in Ocean Shores for work when she lives somewhere else. Vice versa. I have used the bathroom at her place on the way home from work and then got myself unable to lock the door because they have one of those fancy key locks. And I was like, well, I'm fucking screwed. So I'm just sitting in front of the door in an unlocked house waiting for her to get home. But like, this is true community, being able to depend on one another. I had to change my pharmacy recently to Safeway, which I am absolutely fucking hating. But my old pharmacy was not in network with my new health insurance, and so I've had to change pharmacies. Leanna knows I hate it. She's gone to the pharmacy with me. She's even gone as far as to offer to pick up my medications for me if I don't want to do it. Like, you guys, this is real community, and I did not know that this kind of community existed, and it feels so good. It feels so safe, so supportive, so loving. I never thought I was worthy of having these types of friendships, so I never pursued these types of friendships. Getting sober has also been super helpful for me in building community, because all of the friends that I had had a few years ago were people that I would go out to the clubs with and binge drink with, and like people that, while I loved, they weren't the kind of people that could follow me into the future. I need people who are, if not sober, like not struggling with drugs and alcohol use and hardly use drugs and alcohol and support my sobriety and are invested in my sobriety. And so that means them not drinking or drugging around us, which Edwin and Leanna don't have any problems with that. They're fucking amazing people, and they're so supportive in that regard. And I know that, like, if I were to relapse, they would be sad. They would be, because they're invested in that. But they would also be like, I see you. I'm here for you. Come over. Let's do this together. This is the kind of community that I want for everyone with borderline. This is the kind of community that we all need when we experience our symptoms. We need people who are non-judgmental and who are going to show up for us. We need people who we can be non-judgmental for and who we can show up for. So let's talk about what the fuck community is and how to build it. So I have the definition of community. Community is a fundamental pillar in promoting mental health and well-being. It helps reduce feelings of loneliness and isolation, fosters resilience, and provides vital resources that aid in recovery. So when I think about everything that's happening in the world, I think systems are not showing up for us. People in power are not showing up for us. We have to show up for one another. So you might have heard the term community care before. This is looking out for one another. It's thinking that the well-being of us is connected to the well-being of others and vice versa. It's existed forever. It's intentional action to help one another. This is the kind of thing that we need when the world seems to be sort of falling apart, at least from my perspective. Oh my God, the funniest thing. So, you know how you can rate and review podcasts, which shameless plug, please give us a rating and review. That is super helpful for finding new folks. But I got a rating with this funny comment that I had to Google. So it was like essentially saying, great podcast, but the person, me, has too much TDS and that's taking away from the podcast. And I was like, what the fuck is TDS? So I had to Google it. Trump derangement syndrome. I think that's what it's called. Trump deranged syndrome. I don't know. AKA, I hate Trump. Just want to go on record to say that I do, in fact, hate Trump and think that everything he's doing is destroying our country and parts of the world as well. So let's not get that twisted. Let's be very fucking clear about that. But what a funny comment. So community care, we have to be in community with one another. And so that means we have to be socially supportive of one another. So what is a social support? A social support is something that's effective in reducing perceived stress, improving our emotion regulation, and helping reduce feelings of overwhelm. This promotes validation, helps share resources, and helps us learn coping strategies. I have seen the BBB community be in such social support of one another. It's absolutely insane. Instagram has been like the coolest place for me to receive and to give social support. Everyone who sends me a DM saying this podcast has like changed your life or whatever, the podcast is a social support. When you guys send messages to one another saying, this is what's worked for me, or can you help me by telling me what's worked for you? That's giving and receiving social support. It like literally gives me fucking chills to think about, because for me, that didn't exist before this podcast. This podcast has really forced me to learn how to connect with other people in a way that is like authentic, in a way that's truly about, I'm not going to hide my borderline diagnosis from the world anymore. And I don't want you to hide your borderline diagnosis or whatever else is happening for you, neurodivergence, other mental health conditions, just general struggles. Like, I don't want you to hide that from the world. And one of the things that I did with Edwin and Leanna was from the very beginning, I was open about having borderline personality disorder. It wasn't this big old coming out party. It was just generally mentioning it in conversation, like so casually, and observing that on their faces and in their tone, that didn't make a fucking difference to them. That was me realizing, okay, these are safe people to connect with. Such a beautiful moment I'll never forget. I just felt so much validation inside, and I hadn't really experienced that before. And part of that was probably me not coming out to people with my diagnosis, except for on this podcast in front of the world, which is so funny. But I hope that all of you can find people where you can come out with a diagnosis and you don't experience stigma or shame or rudeness or anything yucky like that. So try it. Try coming out to people. This is a way to see if these are safe people for you. And my hope with this podcast is that you'll realize, oh, maybe I need to build a little bit more community. Even if you already have a shitload of community, that's beautiful. We can never have too much love in our lives. We can never have too much love in our lives. I'll never forget when someone said that to me. They were talking about a child who was experiencing divorce, right? Like their parents were getting divorced. And one of the parents was starting to date again and, had a partner, and they were really nervous about their child meeting that partner. And someone else said to them, of course, whenever they were ready to let their child meet that partner, right? But someone else said to them, your daughter can never have too much love in her life. She can never have too much love in her life. And that was just like a fundamental moment for me when I realized I don't have enough love in my life. Which, of course, as someone with borderline, it can feel like we could have all the love in the world and still never have enough, and that's okay too. But community cares. Okay, so when we're in community or when we're having friendships with people, there's 3 types of support that I learned that we need to have and to receive and to give. So the first type of support is emotional support. And I find this one to be like so yummy, right? Just like I have so many big emotions and they often feel so invalidated by other people. And that invalidation causes me to experience a variety of symptoms. But often for me, it's like rage and anger. And that spirals into, I don't know, me maybe like throwing a plant against a wall or something, which is awful and sad for my plant and sad for me. And it's not like this is a real life example or anything, but those plants have since recovered. The pots they were in, not so much. Not proud of those moments. So receiving emotional support, receiving validation from other people is so important. And we define emotional support as listening, understanding, providing comfort. This helps reduce feelings of isolation and loneliness. Emotional support, such a big one. The second type of support, practical support. Helping with daily tasks, transportation, etc., etc. This helps lessen those daily burdens that we might be experiencing. So letting Leanna just walk in my house anytime she needs the bathroom because she's on this side of town, that's practical support. Her offering to go to the pharmacy for me because I cannot possibly wait in an hour line at 5 p.m., but she lives next to the pharmacy so she can go at 8:30 at night when there's no line. That is practical support. Such beautiful, like comforting support knowing I don't have to do this on my own. And for me, I think you guys know this, but like going to the pharmacy can be such a source of tension in my body and fear of arguing with the pharmacist or whatever. Not that I've done that a time or 12, but that practical support, knowing that someone's going to show up for you and knowing that you can show up for someone else is super rewarding. And the final support is information assistance. This is sharing our knowledge about resources, treatment options, coping strategies, etc. And this is the kind of support that I've found in the BBB community and online on Instagram if you're in the right online spaces or if you're in the right Reddit spaces, which Reddit is a nightmare sometimes. So, trying to curate your feed, such a disgusting term, but if we can sort of curate good community online, that can be a place where we get a lot of information assistance, and that can be such a game changer. I remember the first time that I learned about Portland DBT as a program, and yes, I understand that's a paid resource, but I was sitting in a room with, 8 or 9 other people that are participating in group therapy, and they were such a source of information for me, and like, this is what I do and this is what you do and this is what we do together to help cope with our symptoms. Like, such a cool bonding experience and active community to be in with one another. We don't need those paid supports to do that. Of course, that's such a privilege to be able to participate in. And I know it's really hard for a lot of people to find groups, especially DBT groups that are in network with their insurance or are affordable or online or whatever that makes it accessible. So being able to do this with your fellow borderliner or someone who has, similar diagnoses to you or has had similar life experiences to you can be really valuable. On the other side of this, I do think it's easy to fall into sort of like bonding over shared negative experiences, and we kind of want to watch out for that. That can lead to like unsafe community at times, I think. And when our relationships are built on those bonding experiences, it can be really hard to then build safer community because it's really easy to become triggered by other people and their experiences and vice versa. So when we are having those kinds of conversations, one of the most beautiful things we can do is ask for consent. Hey, can I tell you about a time when I experienced this really hard thing or whatever? So those are the 3 types of support that I was able to find. Maybe there's more, maybe they're labeled different ways, but support is support at the end of the day, however it looks, and we need it. Okay, let's talk about how to build community. Maybe the most important part of this podcast. It's one thing to talk about community, to think about community. It's another thing to actually dive in and do it. And again, I was so terrified to try to start doing this, but I also realized I can't keep living my life with such disconnection, such loneliness from other people, that I was sort of forced to start building community. And also I felt like a lot of jealousy and resentment that my husband had such community that I didn't have. Part of that was like working remote. I realized it was so easy to isolate myself. So if you are working remote, keep in mind, you still have to get out of your house. You have to brush your teeth, put on real clothes, go out and fucking meet people. Go out and spend time with your people. How to build community, y'all. So the first is to promote open dialogue, encourage conversations about mental health, be authentic, and ask other people to be authentic with you. That was the very first thing that I did to decide, are Edwin and Leanna safe? And ding, 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 these are absolutely safe people. Promoting that open dialogue. Be open about your borderline diagnosis. Don't hide it. We don't have anything to fucking hide. We're beautiful, wonderful humans with like such skills and feelings and love to give to the world. We don't need to quell that. We don't need to hide that. We don't need to make that quiet. Let's be loud about it. The second thing is to participate. Again, when you're working remote, super easy to not participate, and I fell into that for years. Attend events. Invite other people to events. Join support groups. Start support groups. Go to book clubs. Go to walking groups. One of the coolest things about social media, and particularly Facebook, which I don't know, Facebook to me seems like seems like MySpace now, but the coolest thing about Facebook, besides Facebook Marketplace, where you can get all the tools in the world, is Facebook has really great groups that you can look into in your local community and join, or really great online support groups for mental health and things like that, or like plant groups and mom groups and all of these places. Yes, they can be kind of toxic at times, so you have to find the right groups to participate in. There's also that app or website called Meetup where you can find local groups, and I think that's really cool for like gaming groups and athletic groups and meeting up in the community for people who have common interests or whatever. I am not going to lie, I've never gone to a group. I've signed up for groups and then not gone because I was so afraid. but this is something that I do at some point really want to challenge myself to do, is participate in some groups and meet some new people. And I know I am capable of it. I know that there's people that would enjoy me, want to meet me. I know there's people I would enjoy and want to meet. So I just need to bite the bullet. Oof, I don't like that term when I have borderline. I just need to do the thing, get out there, practice what I preach. Okay, the third is collaborate with others. Share resources, build those groups, be with other people. If you work somewhere, collaborate with other organizations. So examples are like, go to Pride events, go to Disability Month events, things like that. Number 4, create brave spaces. Brave is an intentional word. These are not safe spaces. There's no such thing as a safe space for everyone, especially when we have different backgrounds, socioeconomic status, culture, those kinds of things. So brave spaces, not safe spaces, where we can share our thoughts and our feelings without judgment from other people and just really see people and act as human. Like, at the end of the day, we are all human. We might have wildly different beliefs from one another, but most of the time we can find at least one common ground place to sit and talk. Brave spaces, not safe spaces. And the last, and this is not an exhaustive list, is to practice inclusivity. Be inclusive, be accessible for other people. We have to be accessible to all people, regardless of any identities, backgrounds, that kind of thing. We have to celebrate each other, right? And in a world where there's so much fucking hate right now and disconnection, and it's so easy to find the areas that we are not in agreement with one another, practice seeing people, practice connecting, practice like, oh, I don't know what it means to be trans, but I'd love to learn from you. I'd love to be your friend because you being trans doesn't fucking matter. So be inclusive. So let's talk about some reasons why building community can be really hard, really scary, really like you don't know what to expect, right? So community building is hard. One of the first reasons is we're unsure where to start. When I think about Edwin and Leanna, this is kind of funny, but I noticed that Leanna had traditional style tattoos, and I have traditional style tattoos, and my husband tattoos in a traditional style. So I was like, hey, girl. I don't actually think I said that, but I noticed you have traditional style tattoos. My husband tattoos. He's just starting again. Would you ever be interested in getting like a free tattoo so that he can practice on you? And she was like, oh my God, yes. So they came over and got tattooed, and that was the start of a really beautiful friendship. Such a weird way to get started, but it was like my in. That was the thing that I could find common ground on. I didn't know how else to do it, but I thought, this might be a really cool person. We seem to like the same type of art. Maybe we could like some of the other things in the same way. Or maybe we have some of the other similar beliefs. Who knows? That's not to say that everybody who has traditional style tattoos is going to be someone that I agree with, but I think I got pretty lucky with Edwin and Leanna. Also, Edwin and Leanna, if you're listening, I'm just basically obsessed with you in like the most borderline way. You are not my favorite people because I don't have favorite people. And if you don't know what a favorite person is, definitely Google that from a BPD perspective. I love you. I think you're wonderful people, but I'm not actually obsessed with you to the point that it could, in a way, sort of be really damaging to us. Okay, second reason, maybe our culture doesn't support it. So an example of this is like American culture can be very individualistic, and we're taught to only rely on ourselves and not rely on other people. It's that like boss girl, strong woman mentality. Like, fuck that. I don't want to be a strong woman. I want other people to like help me carry the load. Like, I don't need the invisible work of being a woman on my back. That's not fun for me. So when we do act from that very individualistic perspective, we end up really tired and lonely and like unfulfilled. That's just not cool. So we have to challenge ourselves to be in community with other people and to ask other people to show up. I know that having borderline means that people haven't showed up for us. Anyone who has borderline personality disorder has felt alone at some point in their lives, right? Like trauma is a fundamental reason why we have this disorder. Most of us experience the feeling of not being supported, not being loved, not being seen in childhood. And that has resulted in that belief in adulthood that nobody will see us, love us, support us. I am here to tell you that's not fucking true, even when it feels fucking true. And we have to sort of try to fact check this. Maybe there's not a lot of people in our lives right now who we do feel like support us, but maybe there has been one example recently where we've been supported. Maybe it was the person at your local coffee stand who used your pronouns. That is support. That is relying on someone else to see you. That is not being alone. That is being in community. So try not to be an individual in the sense that, not that you're not authentically and beautifully yourself and different from other people, but individualistic. That's not benefiting us. The next reason is my dear old friend, anxiety. You dumb bitch, I hate you. This is normal, but it can be very destabilizing to feel that constant anxiety, right, about other people. So we have a lot of work to do in this area. We have a lot of DBT skills to use. We might have a lot of medication to take. I have a lot of medication to take that's trying to target the anxiety. And again, I do have a social anxiety disorder diagnosis. That means that fundamentally, I tend to fear other people and get really anxious in social situations. But if you're noticing that anxiety come up, definitely try to challenge it. It doesn't have to rule your world, right? Like it can be a part of your world, but you get to be stronger and more capable than it tells you that you are. Another reason why building community is hard is that it takes a lot of work. And we have to put that work in. Unfortunately, sometimes we're really, really, really tired and we don't want to do the work. We don't want to show up to the event. We don't want to go to Friendsgiving and bring deviled eggs or whatever it is that we're going to do, right? Side note, what a delicious part of Friendsgiving this year at our friend's house. Like, oh my God, such a fun night. There is kind of like the impact of capitalism, and we're always like shooting for the best thing and the keeping up with the Joneses and the whatever. Like the work is that we have to fight that and we have to prioritize our health. And if we do have a lack of time because we're working a lot, we need to really think about, okay, how am I going to spend this time in a way that's rewarding to me and benefits me? I hope that's with other people that are really loving to you. The next reason is that fear of vulnerability. I spent like $500 a couple of years ago to sign up to take a metal smithing jewelry class. I was so excited to take it, and guess what, y'all? I didn't go. I've signed up for van events, and I didn't go. I just got so nervous at the last minute, and it was like that fear of vulnerability, that fear of being seen, the fear of they're going to think I'm weird, crazy, and they're not going to include me. All of that is trauma from not having been included in childhood. Like I was a weird kid, and there's nothing wrong with being weird. Being weird is really cool. But when you're young, it's not cool. And I experienced a lot of not being included and being excluded as a child. And so in adulthood, that means that I have thought that people will naturally not include me in things. I wonder what it would have been like to go to that jewelry class. I wonder what it would have been like to let myself be a beginner. Part of that not going to that class was like, I'm going to be a beginner. Are they going to think I'm stupid? Am I going to get behind? And will I be judged for that? Really yucky. And I'm so sad that I didn't go do those things. But also at the time, I have a lot of grace for that version of myself who was just trying to survive and just trying to make it. I think if I signed up for a jewelry class now, I would probably attend. I would have a lot of anxiety, but I think I would probably attend. And one of the differences now versus then is that I do have a really loving and supportive partner that would push me to go in a good way. And I have friends that would ask me about it, ask me how it's going, give me encouragement if I felt like it wasn't going well. That makes such a difference. Okay, and the last reason, and again, this is not an exhaustive list. If you're listening, you could be like, Sarah, you forgot 12 other reasons why building community is hard. Super valid, I hear you. But for me, the believing that nobody can relate to us or nobody understands us is what I'm going to talk about as the final reason for why building community is hard. Again, having been excluded so many times in my life, I've always thought I'm the weird one. I've always observed my emotions are bigger than other people's. Why is that? They might think that I am, what is the term? Crying wolf every time I cry or every time I get angry or every time I feel excluded. They might think I'm paranoid. They might think I'm XYZ. I could write a novel about what I perceive other people to think me to be. But people can relate to us. We are more normal than we think. Our feelings are being experienced by other people in maybe not the same way and maybe not as big of a way, but other people do want to understand why our feelings are the way they are. I really have to believe that there's people out there that want to understand why our feelings are big and want to embrace those big feelings. And I know there's other people that are making art about their big feelings and writing about their big feelings and expressing their big feelings in ways that we could benefit from learning how to do or practicing doing and doing with other people. So those are some reasons why building community is really hard. Let's talk about some things to keep in mind when we are building community. I just have 3 things for you to keep in mind as you start building community. I've said this first one before, and I'll say it again. Building community takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time to get to a place where you're going to let someone walk into your house and use your bathroom, especially if there's a possibility that your house is a fucking disaster. And practicing, okay, if they love me, they're going to be okay with the dog hair on the floor and the dirty dishes on the table, and they're not going to judge me. That takes time to learn. Okay, I'm going to eat in front of these people, and I'm going to be okay with letting them see me eat. I'm going to be okay with letting them see me eat freaking garlic Parmesan fries that is a heaping plate. I'm going to be okay with that. Those were things that I was not okay with 2 years ago. I wanted to hide. I wanted to have a perfect house. I wanted to be perceived as athletic and healthy. And that's not to say I'm not those things, because I am. But my eating disorder history really had me afraid to eat in front of other people and to eat anything that I would think that other people would perceive to be unhealthy. Taking the time to build real community and to let yourself be seen in all of the ways that you are and all of the ways that you show up. Don't expect that to happen overnight. We have so many layers of hardened walls that we have built up to protect ourselves that we have to start tearing down. We have to let the onion come down, you guys. It's essential to do that, to build that community. And that's not to say that I'm always comfortable with having someone come in my house if it looks messy, because there's always going to be those leftover bits of trauma. That's not to say that I'm not still uncomfortable and feel shame when I eat in front of people. It just means that I am challenging myself to show up in that way and to be real Sarah, who loves garlic Parmesan fries more than anything in the world. Okay, the second thing, true community, and I have said this before and I'll say it again, true community is going to accept your borderline diagnosis and is not going to shame you and judge you for it. They are going to accept that you have a shitload of trauma that resulted in the building of this diagnosis. They are going to accept that you have to do funny things like shove your head in a bowl of ice water to regulate, and they are going to let you do that without judgment. In fact, they are going to bring that ice out for you and help you do that. And maybe they're going to do it with you. Maybe they're going to go for a walk in the freezing cold rain with you because that's what you need to do to get out of whatever environment is pissing you off or making you sad. They're going to be a part of how you regulate. Or they're going to check in with you if you need to regulate by yourself. They're going to just be like, hey, how are you doing? Is there anything you need from me? That's a really simple act of community. And finally, oh my God, is this important? And I've had to do this many times. It is okay to leave groups of people and places of community that no longer serve you. I had to leave the community of people that was drinking and drugging. I could not bring them with me. I could not bring people with me that triggered me and dysregulated me. And that's not to say that I'm not responsible for trying to regulate around people who maybe do accidentally, keyword, accidentally dysregulate me at times. I am responsible for trying to work through those moments. But if people consistently dysregulate you, or you're consistently in fear and living in that fight, flight, freeze, fawn place, these are not the people for you. Leave them behind. Move forward into the future. Let them live their lives in a way that works for them. Let you live your life in a way that works for you. Okay? That is an okay thing to do, even if it's family. Even if it's family, especially if it's family. Blood is not fucking thicker than water. It is okay to be quote unquote estranged from people. I don't like that word, estrangement. It is okay to move into the future in a way that is safe and secure and loving, supportive for you. Okay, I'm really excited before we end to talk about what does community mean to my community. I asked some people in the BBB community to tell me, what does community mean to you? And naturally, for the end of this episode, I have Talon with me because he's obsessed with me. Talon, what does community mean to you?
Community means to me that it's, well, first of all, community to me means a choice to be active and be there for people, who are in turn there for you. Community doesn't always have to be completely transactional and reciprocal like that. Sometimes community just means showing up for somebody, even when you, quote, don't want to. I don't really know how to describe that, but I guess community to me means external support that isn't your wife, that isn't your family. It's a chosen group of human beings that you do stuff with. I think that community for me has been hard to create. I have been in and out of many communities, and I have had a lot of loss when it comes to communities. Left industries or, left groups of friends or places of work. So to me, community has always been something that I have taught myself to live without. So I guess that's why I say community is a choice. I choose to be in community with other people. And to me, that's really cool and really important. It's like I choose it because I know I can live without it. So when I'm choosing to be active in any community that I am in, I'm in it. I am there. I show the fuck up. I don't know if that's answers your question, actually.
No, that totally answers my question. I was thinking about, like, specifically for you as a trans man, having to leave the lesbian community
Mm-hmm.
and enter into the trans community,
Mm-hmm.
and originally leaving the tattoo community and then coming back into a very different kind of tattoo community
Mm-hmm.
and leaving the piercing community. Like, you have been in and then been excluded from many groups of people, and I can imagine, like, that's the mourning that you're talking about.
Yes. Yes, it is. I also think that when I was in those particular communities, I didn't really maybe have a lot of, I don't know about insight, but I didn't really know a lot of things about me that made it difficult to kind of move through communities. And I always felt, out of step and kind of out of sync. And I can say that knowing more about myself and knowing more about how I show up has been helpful in building community that sees that, understands that, and is cool with that, with like old tattoo community to new tattoo community, I very much show up as myself, which is, quote, out of pocket, end quote.
And you've found people who are safe for you to show up with as yourself.
Absolutely. And in my older tattoo communities, I still have people who I met there, who I am very much in contact with, who I love more than anything. And those people are still in my life because they just saw me, accepted me, and that was it, But I definitely have a lot of mourning and a lot of loss for all these places that I thought I belonged or that I did belong in and then I don't anymore. I sometimes, I guess, looking back on many facets of my life, I do always have the feeling that, okay, how long is this going to last? When am I going to have to start over? Because I have started over a few times in my life, transitioning, losing my first wife, leaving my industry that was very much my identity, going into a brand new industry, cooking, and kitchen work, and not allowing that to be my identity, and then coming back into tattooing, and still not letting it be my identity. So there's been a lot of work, internal work, I guess, while looking for community.
Yeah, I think not losing yourself in community is really important. Like, that sense of identity still has to be entirely your own.
Yes.
Because what happens when that community no longer serves you or is no longer safe for you, then there's this huge sense of self. And for people with borderline, it's so easy to develop a sense of self by those external factors, by those people that you have around you, rather than by who you are and the things that you're interested in internally.
I completely agree. I would say that if that is a borderline experience, that is not solely a borderline experience. I completely identify with that. Like, that just giving everything you have to this community because you love it so much and because that belonging feels so good, where it's like, oh my God, finally, It's definitely, I will say for me, it was, as a younger person, a very slippery slope not to just forget who I was and just be like, this is me now, So being older, and having done and gone through all the things that I have, I don't worry about losing myself in a community anymore, which feels good. I feel like I show up more authentically, and I feel like I have, in the communities that I am building or have built currently, I feel like there's a lot more longevity. And I feel like if I were to change, that hopefully these communities might be able to change with me. And I think that is, again, a choice in the communities that I've chosen to be a part of and chosen to build relationships within. So again, community is a choice,
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, let's listen to what some other folks have to say about what community means to them. Okay, the first person said, I can be the catalyst of positive change for people who directly affect me.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that is beautiful. When we show up in communities from that place of like positivity or whatever adjective we can use or synonym we can use that's positive, it has an impact on other people.
Mm-hmm. When I like it was the catalyst to positive change for people who directly affect me. Like I like that, instituting positive change in people who also affect you, right? Like, what do they say? Like, you are who you hang out with.
Yeah. What do they say? You are the 5 closest people in your life.
Yeah, something like that.
So if we want to be loving and kind and, see people, those 5 people hopefully are loving and kind and see us.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I like that. That was a good one.
People I can safely be honest with. Oof, honesty is so fucking hard.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you have borderline, it's so easy to want to like hide your symptoms. And I know that probably resonates for people who identify as like having quiet BPD. I struggle with externalizing and other folks struggle with internalizing, and that like, let's just be real about the way that we experience this life.
Yeah. Honesty is hard. Even when it comes to like not BPD stuff, just like telling somebody like, somebody what's up.
Yeah, like my feelings are hurt. That's the most vulnerable thing I could ever say. And I don't say it because it feels so vulnerable. It feels so scary.
Yeah. Yeah, like you hurt my feelings. Yeah, you don't say that very often.
No, I just freak out and lose my shit.
Yep. We're working on it though.
We're working on it. Okay. The word has almost lost its meaning for me. Oh, that breaks my heart. Most of the folks I hear advocating for community are the ones that exclude me. I know that's not everyone. Like you, I love you. I love you too so much. This person who wrote this knows who they are. It makes me feel really sad to be excluded, and I've experienced that so many times in my life, and it makes me really sad for other people when they feel excluded. And I think that that's a common borderline experience, like to hold on to people that you've seen be excluded and to like make community with those people around that feeling, or to completely isolate because of that feeling and then not build community.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't feel safe.
Well, yeah. And I mean, there's no guarantee that if you take the chance again, that you won't be excluded again, right? Like, that makes total sense. Hopefully, this person, I don't know who they are, but hopefully...
You know them, though.
Oh, I do? Oh, okay, cool. But hopefully, I don't know, man. Hopefully they just keep trying. Like, you don't have to try every single time. Maybe give yourself some time, in between, but I would say don't stop trying, because eventually you'll find your people, you'll find your community, And
I know for this person, I think what we've talked about is sometimes location can make it really hard. Like where you live can make it really hard to build community.
Yeah, that makes sense. If you're like in a spot that like a city or a town or whatever that doesn't exactly align with
your values
or your view on certain things, it's hard to find community, it's hard to find like-minded people.
Yeah, and for us it's like we live in the poorest county in this state. It's a bunch of working class people just trying to make it. And that's sort of where we're at. We're just, working class trying to make it. And a lot of people here don't look like us. They're not tattooed and they're not alternative the same way that we tend to present as. They are living a very similar life to us. And yeah. In our little beach town, it's like there's not a lot of young people, but there's just a lot of normal people. It's not fucking high acidity people trying to keep up with the Joneses.
No.
Like, it's not people that are like super obsessed with being beautiful or skinny or having the nicest whatever, like we're lucky that we're not around those types of groups of people that make us feel icky about ourselves because we can't keep up with that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I
And I
was.
feel like in Portland,
No,
the queer community very much was like, it's like you're in with the cool queers.
it's competitive.
It's very competitive.
Yeah, and definitely out here, I think it's just like, in my experience, any other queer that I've met is like, oh, dope, another queer person. Like, it doesn't matter, like, what you look like or how you identify. It's just like, oh, cool, one more, one more. And I will say, like, I agree with you, Sarah, in that, like, being in a working, like, very working class county and people who work hard and just are, out here living we were fortunate, I think, to move out here because I feel like you and I are very, like, working hard, just out here trying to live a good life,
Yeah.
So.
Just trying to take our dogs to the beach.
Yep.
Like, that's the greatest goal of our life is, like, to get out and work our dogs.
Mm-hmm.
It's simple living.
It is, but it's
good living.
It is good living.
Okay. Mutual deep connection, respect, and care. Ooh, that word deep is so powerful.
Deep connection.
Deep connection, respect, and care. Mutual. Yeah, I think that's beautiful. And that's exactly how we feel about community, is that reciprocity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, isn't it funny that, like, when you find community, the connection part of it, I believe personally, in my experience, when you do find community, the connection is deep without having to even, like, you're ever sitting on the couch and you're talking to parts of your community and you're just like, damn, I'm having a great time right now. Like, dang, we're just connecting. And it doesn't even have to be, like, deep, intense conversations. It could just be shooting the shit, but it's just this, like, it's just this really great feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not, like, sitting on our couch like, oh my God, we're just fucking talking about shit that doesn't matter, I never feel like that.
I don't know. Sometimes we need to just talk about shit that doesn't matter, though, right? Like,
no, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
even when we're talking about things that aren't, like, deep.
Oh, that it doesn't always have to be deep. I see.
Yeah, that, like, even if we're just shooting the shit, blah, 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 talking about how, like, we tripped up the stairs or what, just how was your day? Like, that I'm not ever sitting there like, oh my God, this means nothing.
Right.
And it's not even deep conversations.
Well, and it's that how was your day question indicates, like, I'm invested in you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm invested in your well-being.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, to me, community means safety and connection. I'm sensing a theme here.
Yeah.
And the final one, to me, community is reliability, security, and friendship.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that a lot.
Friendship is so powerful. I didn't realize how powerful it was until the last few years.
Mm-hmm. I like the reliability point because I read something the other day on the Instagrams. It was like a little word post or, whatever. I call them all memes now because it's just easier. But it was talking about how building community, like, community is inconvenience. And I like that because it is more convenient to stay at your house in your jams and not put your shoes on and go out and see your people and help somebody move or pick up dinner for them because they're sick or whatever. Like, I like that thought that, like, building community is not easy and you will be inconvenienced, and that's okay. The reliability thing I like because I don't mind being reliably inconvenienced by my community.
You know what this is making me think about is
what?
I love having a truck. I never want to not have a truck.
Yeah.
We have let people borrow the truck. We have showed up and shoved mattresses on top of the truck because we need people to be in a new house.
A whole ass couch.
Tons of boxes. Like, having a truck is so powerful in helping build community and being in community with people.
Absolutely.
Like, you need to move your shit, I got you.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
You need firewood, let's go get it.
Yeah.
You need pallets to build a fucking whatever it is that we plant things in, a planter box. Let's go get some pallets.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, guys. So I hope the takeaway here is if you're struggling to build community, to keep on going. If you feel like you've got a great community, to be fucking grateful for it. If you're ready to build safer, more loving community, dive into it.
Oh, I have an ending point.
Okay.
If you're in a community and you don't feel like it's a good fit anymore, it's okay to take a step back and be a little bit more introspective about the time you're spending.
Yeah, that's self-respect.
Yeah, don't hold on to a community that maybe isn't reciprocating. Just saying.
Just saying. All right, y'all. We love you, and let's build some community. And I am so grateful for the BBB community that we have built.
Boop, boop.
Hi, listeners. Thank you for tuning in to the Bold, Beautiful Borderline podcast. I hope you enjoyed the episode today. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your content. That is super helpful for me. It helps us find additional folks who want to listen to the show, want to feel seen, family members who want to learn, and partners who want to understand. If you want to follow along to more than just the podcast, find us on Instagram at Bold Beautiful Borderline, find me at Borderline from Hell, or head over to boldbeautifulborderline.com where there's information, resources, a place to leave a voicemail to be heard on the podcast, which I love, and just general content. All of that information can be found in the show notes. And if you want to get exclusive content, which is bonus episodes, journal prompts, worksheets, all sorts of extra stuff, sometimes videos of me with my hair very crazy, with kind of impulsive borderline rants, head over to Patreon and consider becoming a member. That is super helpful with creating content that allows me to destigmatize BPD and all of the other wild mental health struggles that we discuss on the podcast. A huge thanks to everyone who joins on the podcast to share their story and just generally helps keep this thing alive. Especially my friend Corey Evans from the Evergreen Band. He produced and created the music that is the intro and outro for this show, as well as the cover art that was created by my husband, Talon Abbott. Their information is found in the show notes. All of the information discussed in the podcast is purely personal experience. This is not medical recommendations. This is not therapy recommendations. There's no producer for this show. It's all me.